Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Embrace with Christina. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. And if you are new here, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on videos just like this. So in today's video, we're going to talk about how you can create a soft life working a 9-to-5. Before I jump into the list, I do want to give my definition of what a soft life is. So this is just strictly what I believe a soft life is. There is no concrete definition for this, but based on just some of the talking points that I've seen around this topic, this is what I've concluded that it is. So my definition for what a soft life is a life that essentially is less stressful, but it's a life that you curate, because we know that in our society, the goal, it seems like the goal is just to work. And that is not the way that we are supposed to live as human beings. We are supposed to have a balanced life where you have time for friends, you have time for family, you have time to do the things that you want to do. So essentially, a soft life is a life that you curate that allows you to live in the healthiest way possible, to create balance, to have peace and happiness. And that can only be done if you are being very intentional about it. So that is my definition of a soft life. You're also going against the grain of what society says that you should be doing and how you should feel about it and how you should be spending your time. You're deciding that you're going to take control over your time, or take back control over your time and over what you choose to do and how you choose to live your life. All right, so now that we have that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right into the list. So number one is going to be prayer. In all things, we need to be going to God first and praying about it and seeing what direction He wants us to go. There is not a moment in our lives where we should not be consulting the Lord about clarity and peace and just what His will and His plan is for us. So even with a soft life, I think it's something that we need to be very intentional about, because God is definitely a God of intentionality, and we need to make sure that we are following that same path. So pray about it. Ask God about what you need to remove out of your life. What do you need to cut back on? What do you need to add to your life? Who you should hang out with, who you should not hang out with. These are all things that you should get some type of clarity on before you start this journey. The second thing that you want to do to curate this life is you have to have the mindset for it. So if you don't believe that you are worthy of having a soft life, then you are going to struggle. You have to decide that this is something that you are going to commit yourself to. You are not going to let distractions get in your way. You're not going to let the opinions of others get in the way, because trust me, when you start putting yourself, your mental health, your physical health, everything first, you're going to have some people who are going to have a problem with it. They're going to try to give their opinions. They're going to try to tell you what you should do and what you should not do. So it's something that you have to be prepared for, because there's people who feel like they don't deserve a soft life, so then they're going to try to bring you down and try to make it seem like you don't deserve one either. But that is foolishness, and you just need to make sure that you are staying on top of your stuff and that you are staying true to who you are. So if this is something that you truly desire and you want to make happen, you have to have the mindset that you're going to do it, which means you have to stop caring what other people think about you. Yes, stop caring what other people think about you and what you choose to do with your life. You have to know, as long as you have brought that to God, as long as God has given you confirmation, as long as you are doing what genuinely makes you happy, that is all that matters. And of course, as long as you're not doing anything crazy, you're not hurting anybody, you're not causing unnecessary problems, then you're good. So make sure that you have the mindset and you're working on that. You might be working through self-esteem issues. You might be working through just things from the past that has hindered you. There's maybe some women watching this where you carried the burden so long for caring for other people and putting other people before yourself. And now you're at a point where you're sick of it, you're tired of it, and rightfully so. But you might have people who make you feel like, oh, you've been doing this all along, that's just what you should be doing. You just need to deal with it. And you don't need to just deal with it. Well, you are dealing with it. You're dealing with it in the right way by deciding to put your needs first before you even start to think about others and how to pour into them. And it's very, very necessary for you to do this. And so there's lots of books that you can read, like self-help books, and lots of like devotionals and stuff that you can read as well, to kind of help to get you and prepare you for this new journey, and to get you in a new mindset, so that way you can approach this in the healthiest way possible. The other thing you want to make sure is that you are taking this new mindset over into your job. So what that looks like is that you are taking your PTO days, you are using your sick days, and shoot, if you need to call out, you're doing that. Because there is only one of you, and you cannot wear yourself out to the point where you're now out of work because of medical reasons due to work, because you just didn't take any time off. Like, that's crazy. So with this mindset, make sure that you are utilizing that time, because it's part of your total compensation. Shout out to the real Veronica for reminding us of that. If you haven't seen those real Veronica shorts, make sure you check those out, because she's always giving these tidbits about how to advocate for yourself in the workplace, and they're highly educational. So please check those out. But that's something we forget when we sign up for these jobs, is that is part of our compensation. You're going there you're working there because hey, you're going to get discounts on things, whether it's airfare, hotels, you are going to get a certain allotment of PTO, you are going to have some sick days. So it's your time to use. But trust me, I have worked in workspaces where people get upset because someone used their PTO, or they used their sick time, and it was like their time to use, but people got upset about it. And it's like, well, what do you want us to do? But that's what people do, because they don't mind their own business. So make sure you don't get caught up in that. Take the time for yourself. That's why I said you have to stop caring what people think, because people will have their opinions, and that's what they are, is opinions. All right, so make sure that you're taking that. Don't let anyone gaslight you into not taking your PTO. Don't let anyone shame you into not taking it. It could even be outside your job with family and friends. You deserve it. You work hard. Make sure you are making time for that. All right. All right, so number 3 is going to be setting boundaries. So setting boundaries is so important outside of work and inside of work, because you tell people how to treat you. And here's the thing about boundaries, is that if you are not used to setting boundaries, people are definitely not going to like it. But over time, they will get used to it. So make sure that you are prepared for any type of responses that you're going to get, because if people are used to just getting their way from you, and they're used to you just dropping everything for them, they're going to maybe look at you like, what's going on with you? Are you okay? Or be prepared for all of that type of stuff. And you just simply tell them, oh yeah, I'm fine. Don't explain. You don't have to explain anything to them. You don't have to explain a boundary. Remember that. You just tell them what your boundary is, and you stick to it. And they either abide by it or they don't. But that will tell you a lot about the person you're dealing with. So if that person continues to overstep your boundaries, that lets you know that that person really just doesn't truly care about you, and they don't care to respect that. They just want to do whatever they want to do. So boundaries are also a good way to see who people really are. And remember this too, is that boundaries are going to cause a little bit of friction, but they're supposed to. Communicating your boundaries are not always gonna feel the greatest, but you will feel amazing after you set it. So even if you're like trying to get yourself worked up to just even tell someone, hey, I didn't like this, please don't do that again, I need you to stop, blah, 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 blah. It may not feel pleasant in the moment, but trust me, you will feel amazing after you do, and your confidence level will just keep going up, and it'll just get better and better, because now you are just training yourself to set boundaries and to set them with ease. And you know what? I know people like this that set boundaries seamlessly. I mean, their boundaries are so solid that there is just no room for anyone to even mess that up, because like straight out the gate, they set their boundaries and they let you know like what is okay, what's not okay. And I think that is amazing. I think that's something, a place that everyone really strives to get to, is where you can seamlessly set boundaries. And again, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it, the easier it will become. Now for the work side of boundaries, I am a big advocate of when you start a new job that you go on your social medias and you find everybody at your job and you block them. You block them, you just delete whatever certain followers or certain people. You just say, you know what, I'm not following them. I'm gonna block them so they can't follow me. Do that, because people at your job do not need to be knowing what you're doing outside of your job. That's none of your business. A lot of these jobs are just toxic, and people love to gossip and they love to spread your business around and make up stories. So do yourself a favor and make sure you take care of that the moment that you start your job, because you don't want to end up in a situation where, you know, people are just running with things that they've seen on like your Instagram or your TikTok or whatever it is. It's almost like another version of high school, and you would think that people would just grow out of that, but sadly there's a lot of people who don't, and they take those mindsets into adulthood, and the jobs just become another version of that. So make sure you're setting those boundaries. Make sure you're blocking people that you do not want to find you, because trust me, there are a lot of nice nasties on the job. Okay, like we have all met these people on the job. Because the nice nasties are the people who pretend like they like you, but then behind your back, they're talking about you, they're spreading lies, they go onto your social media pages, and then they come back to report all of what they saw, and it's like, you don't need that in your life. So set boundaries with them, set boundaries with coworkers, with managers, shoot, with vendors and people who come into your job. Set boundaries with everybody. As you're setting boundaries, make sure to set boundaries on your time as well, because nothing is worse than having people just like impede on your time. They always want you to do something. They're always asking for something, and you just feel overwhelmed. So make sure that you're setting boundaries on your time, and particularly at work, and that if you cannot commit yourself to something, that you say no. No is a complete sentence. Okay, let me say that again. No is a complete sentence, and no is also one of those words that is going to reveal who people really are. Okay, so when someone is just all about themselves, they're very selfish, and they just want something, you saying no is going to trigger a negative emotion out of them. So that will tell you who you're dealing with and how to deal with them kind of in the future. Because if you say no to someone and they're very respectful and they're like, okay, that's fine, just, you know, let me know if you can, you know, get to that or something, but it's okay, I can go find someone else or whatever. You know, you're dealing with someone who is being respectful of your time and respectful of your work. So make sure that even at your job, that if you don't feel comfortable with something, if you don't have the time to do something, you could just say no to it. Or maybe it might be something that you need to revisit later. Communicate that. The moment that you bend and you compromise on something at your job, you better believe they are going to try it again, because they're like, oh, well, you did it that time, or you did this time. And they will know that, hey, you're the person they can just keep kind of running over. They can just walk all over you. And you need to make that very clear that you are not the person that they can walk all over. Setting boundaries is going to help you with that. And so make sure that Even in your work life, you're setting boundaries as well as in your personal life. So now that leads us into number 4, which is keep your life private. So this is a good segue from boundaries. Keeping your life private is so important because everybody doesn't need to know everything about you, because everybody is not on your team. Everyone is not wanting to see you win, unfortunately. Like, even people who seem like they want to see you win, the truth is revealed when you actually do start winning and you see that they have gone silent. That will say a lot. So keeping your life private is a good way to just avoid, again, unnecessary stuff. Now, if you are someone who does want to share and you don't want to be like completely closed, because like I'm not telling you to be completely closed, but you can share a little bit, but I would just say don't go into a lot of details. Like, save that for people that you really truly trust, that have shown you that they truly are in your corner and they're not judging you. They are very emotionally supportive, and you know, it's very reciprocal between you and the other party. Remember that your life is not a reality show. It is not for people to watch and comment on and do all of that stuff. And that's why you got to be careful, particularly at work, because you definitely don't want to be sharing a lot at work, okay? And I know we've seen the people at the job that's like open books and they talk about their life and what they did last weekend and all this stuff. You don't have to do that. You're not obligated to do that. I'm definitely somebody, when it comes to work, I love to clock in, do my job, clock out, and go home. I am not about all the extra stuff and what was this person doing and what was they doing and all this other stuff. And of course, like, naturally, as you're working the job, you're going to hear different things, but it doesn't mean that you have to accept everything as truth. And it also doesn't mean that you have to like engage in any of it. You are definitely more than welcome to tell anybody, like, hey, like, I have work to do, you know, don't mean to interrupt, but I have work to do and I have to, you know, get to this and all of that. Or if somebody is just going in like gossiping, you know, talking about somebody really bad, something that I heard that I'm like, oh, that's a good one, I should use that, is you know, let's talk about something more positive. What's new with you? You know, redirect the conversation back to them so they can talk about themselves. Because usually when you have someone who just loves to talk about people and even, you know, say derogatory things about people, that's someone who hates themselves. They don't like themselves, so they're doing that to try to make themselves feel better. So flip it around on them and force them to have to talk about themselves, which they really don't want to because they don't really like themselves. So that's just a little tag, a little something that you can do to try to like dismantle that if that's happening. But just know that people are going to talk regardless, and people are going to talk about you. So you might as well just keep your life private and just only share what you feel comfortable sharing, because the moment that you open your mouth and you say too much, you better believe that that is going to get spread around your workspace. Now, here's the other thing I want to add with rumors. Is be very, very careful, you know, sharing information even with people that you are okay with in the office, because people love to talk. They love to just talk to each other about other people's business. And even if you're cool with them, they might go say something to someone that you're not okay with in the office, and then before you know it, all your information, all your business is spread around. A good example of this is another comment that I read online, and it was a video that was basically about like your coworkers not being your friends. And this lady said that she told someone in the office that her and her family were taking like a 2-week vacation to Hawaii, and that was pretty much it. And she said by the time she came back from lunch, she was rich and bougie. And that's what I'm saying. People make up stuff and they won't even come ask you if it's real. They will just run with whatever the rumor is, because chances are the rumor is more exciting than the truth, and just people just love that. They thrive off of it, and that's not anything you want to be a part of. Maintain your peace, protect your peace at work, and don't fall into those traps. All right, so number 5 is going to be level up financially. So this is very, very important, simply because finances is like the number one reason why people will stay at jobs way too long when they know they should leave. It's because they do not have enough money saved up to carry them for 3 to 6 months while they either take a career break or they just are finding another job. And it's really difficult being in that type of situation because you still got bills to pay and you still got things you got to do. We know that our God is an awesome God. We can do all things through Christ and that He is our provider. So as long as we just kind of walk in that and know that whatever happens, God is always going to be there and He is always going to meet the need, which He does. I have seen Him come through every single time. Like every single time, God always comes through. So just hold on to that. If you are in a place where you don't have a lot saved up right now, it is never too late to start saving money. It's never too late to get back on track. I think I'm going to do a video about this because this deserves its own video of just simple ways to get started with managing your finances properly, because we are called to be good stewards of our finances as well as everything else in our lives. Having money saved up will also help you when you want to travel. If there's a place, a dream destination, someplace you want to go, it's going to help you to take those breaks. If you need to take time off and you just want to take like maybe a staycation and you want to stay in a nice hotel, you can do things like that because you have money saved and tucked away. It takes a little bit to get started if you haven't been doing it, but once you see that money accumulating, it's going to just be so satisfying. Like it's going to be the best motivator. And make sure you make time for yourself. Make sure you have money put away for like fun. So you want to separate it in all types of different categories. I'm not going to go too deep into that. I'll save that for another video. But there's so many books about finance that are just amazing. One of my favorite ones is You Need a Budget. And I talked about this book in my video, 6 Books to Read for Success, which I actually will link up here because I feel like that's one of my most underrated videos. It doesn't have a lot of views and I'm like, this video is awesome. I watched it I think a couple of months ago, and I was like, man, this is such a great video. All the things I was sharing in it, such great talking points. So I recommend that. Go watch that right after this video. But I also recommend that book because the way that it's written, I don't know, it really drew me in, and I think that you will like it as well. There is a workbook that you can purchase with it, but it just breaks down all of those fundamentals, just in a way that, I don't know, it's really fun and just easy to just grasp onto. And it was pretty funny as well. It was written in a way that's funny. So go check that book out. But yeah, finances are just so important, and it's something that's just going to give you that confidence when you are taking this journey, because you don't want to get stuck in a place where you're scrambling and you're trying to figure out what to do. We've been there. I think we've all been there. Unless you're born into money, we've all been there, and it's not a fun place to be. And start little, start with whatever you can to put aside, and make sure you separate it in the different categories so you can keep track of everything. So that's it for the financial part. Quickly, the other thing I want to add is also passive income. So whether it is you freelance on the side, you teach on the side, whatever it is that you do, make sure that you have additional money coming in that you can use to save and put away for something as well. I definitely want you to also get out of the habit of saying side hustle. I do not like that term, side hustle, because you think of hustling and to me, I think of struggling, you're always trying to work to get a dollar. And we want to get out of that mindset. So going back to what I said about our mindsets around living a soft life, I think that's one of them, is to stop saying side hustle, and we're just going to, I don't know, say, side, business or gig or whatever. Just use some other words. So yeah, let's get out of that. We want to get out of that mindset. But yeah, I would say that too, just don't put all your eggs in one basket. Make sure you have additional streams coming in and other sources. All right, so number 5 is going to be self-care. So this is something that I hear a lot when it comes to the soft life videos. And yes, we do need to be pouring into ourselves as far as self-care. It's so important. This is how we rest and recharge. You know, God created the heavens and the earth, and he even had to rest. So this is how important it is to take time away from being productive. Our society puts a lot on being productive, as if that's the goal in life, is how much can you get done? How much can you achieve? But that's not life, and that's not living. That's not how we were meant to live. Life is not about accumulating things. It's about the experiences we have. It's about creating lasting memories, and being present. That is what life is about. So make sure you're taking your time to rest. And that can look like anything. It could look like you sitting at home doing nothing. Sometimes that's all you need to do is sit at home, do nothing, watch your favorite shows, eat your favorite meal. I mean, cooking, I love to cook. So cooking is one activity that will keep you very present. And it's something that is just so enjoyable. And you can also share that experience with other people as well, like family, friends, have a whole little cooking party if you want to. Those are the things that matter. And there's all types of rest too. Before I continue, let me say that. There's spiritual rest, mental rest, emotional rest, and physical rest. And sometimes you may need one more than the other. And again, that's something I could talk about in another video to break that down, ways that you can have that rest for all parts of your being, because we are not one-dimensional. We are three-part beings, mind, body, and spirit, and we have to take care of our mind, body, and spirit. And so aside from like taking trips and aside from just like getting your nails done and maybe getting a massage or things like that, stuff that really just pours into you, because you can't really be what you need to be to others if you are running on empty. So this is the way for you to just kind of get yourself recharge and back at a place that you are able to just like share with others and pour into others. So I just quickly wanted to add that for the self-care part, and let's roll right into the next one, which is going to be prioritize experiences. So what I mean by prioritizing experiences is taking that dream vacation, taking that class you always wanted to take, painting, cooking, dancing, whatever it is, even doing a photo shoot that you always wanted to do. This is what I mean by stepping out into new experiences, because again, those are the things that matter in life, is the experiences that we create for ourselves and that we have with other people. We live in this society now where we are connected, but we're disconnected. And we need to be in fellowship with other people. We need to have that. We need to build those relationships. And so having these experiences, you know, you never know who you might meet. You know, you might get your newest opportunity from someone you met at a networking event, or you might have some new friends from just some kind of fun group outing that you went to, and you met some new people. That is what this is about, and that is going to make your life feel so fulfilled and so enriched. And it also helps you if you are at a job that, you know, you just kind of really don't like. And there's just a lot going on, because when you have a life outside of your job, it makes things so much better. It makes things so much better when you are able to have all these fulfilling experiences. And it really helps you mentally to compartmentalize and know that, hey, your job is just a job. It's just a job. And it's just a means to an end, and it's paying the bills. But you have all this other amazing things happening for you outside of this entity. So make sure that you step out of your comfort zone and you go and you try something new. All right, and last but not least, number 8 is going to be give back. So this is one I definitely do not see when I'm watching like these soft life videos, is giving back. It normally is just heavily focused on like self-care and pouring into yourself, and that is great and amazing. We definitely have to do that, but there is also something so special about giving back, and God has called us to do that as believers in Christ. And trust me, He is pleased with that. The word tells us God is pleased with giving. And this could be, time, it could be donations, it could be, just a service, something that you give away for free. Maybe you freelance in, I don't know, cooking classes or something, and you do one for free. Whatever it is, you're giving back in some way, shape, or form. And God just shows up for that. You're sowing spiritual seeds, and He sees it. And what does He say? If you've done it to the least of these, you've done it unto me. And I think people underestimate the value of giving back and not expecting anything in return. And when you do that, particularly for someone who is less fortunate than you are, it really puts things into perspective. It gives you a new outlook on life, and it just creates and opens up these opportunities for you to either minister to someone, through sharing the gospel, or it might open up opportunities just for you to, even just meet other people, and honestly maybe push you into the purpose that you should be doing. Because a lot of times we're working jobs and we're working in spaces that, that's not what we're called to do. God has called us to something else, but we're kind of just there because we need to pay the bills. But God wants us to move us out of that. And so make sure that, you are including that giving back. So once you've done all the other stuff and, you rested and recharged and done all that, make sure you also schedule time to give back to others. So that's it. I just want to add that in there. And I do want to quickly add one more thing before I close this out. And this is in regards to the self-care part. And, and I do want to say, giving back might be self-care for someone. They might say, hey, I got to get over to, such and such place because I really need to, be around, the community and pour into others. And that might be a form of self-care too. So, don't rule that out. But when it comes to self-care, I want to also add going to therapy and reading the Word. So going to therapy and reading the Word is so important. We need to pour into those parts of ourselves as well. And again, this whole thing is about just living a balanced life. So now let me just run through the list one more time. Number 1 is prayer. Number 2 is mindset. Number 3 is boundaries. Number 4 is keep your life private. Number 5 is level up financially. Number 6 is self-care. Number 7 is prioritize experiences. And number 8 is give back. All right, so that's going to be it for today's video. If you like this, please like and subscribe. And don't forget to share this with those that you think would greatly benefit from it. And I will see you on the next video. Bye.